have a bite?
Yeah, here, there's 2 in a pair, so you can have one.
Oh my gosh, it comes in a pair. Do you know what else comes in a pair?
Us? Because we're sisters?
That is true. We are sisters, but no, I was thinking more of like a story in the Bible. You have any idea?
No.
Don't you remember Noah's Ark?
Oh, yeah, Noah's Ark.
Yeah. And how the animals came in
2 by 2.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. I've always wondered, like, how the animals knew to do that.
Well, God called the animals, one male and one female, so that they would go onto the ark, and once like everything settled down, they could be fruitful and multiply, and so they wouldn't go extinct.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And you know, weren't they on the boat for like 40 days and 40 nights?
Yeah. So what happened was God called Noah to build this ark, and invite people to join him on the ark. And so while he was building, people would walk by and be like, "Hey, Noah, what you doing?" He'd be like, "Well, I'm building this ark because, God told me to." And he built he gave me the exact measurements so that all the animals and all the people would be able to fit on this ark. And he was like, "Yeah, it's going to come a huge flood. It's going to rain. God's going to protect us in this ark." And everyone looked at Noah. They're like, "This crazy loon. It's never rained before. What is he talking about? It's gonna rain. That's just crazy."
Yeah, and then, when his family and him got on the boat,
And all the animals too, yeah.
And the animals, yeah. And then everyone was like, "What the heck? It's never rained here before. Like, what's happening?"
And then God shut the door. Like, they didn't shut the door. It was God. He shut the door. So even if he wanted to let people in after the door was shut, he couldn't.
He couldn't.
He couldn't, because God was the one that opens and closes the door. So after it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, it wasn't just over. Like, there was still a ton of water all on the earth.
So it took them more than 40 days and 40 nights?
That they were on the ark, yeah. It took about 150 days for the water to, like, settle and go away from the earth.
That sounds like a real rough quarantine.
Right? That's so true. But after the water settled down a little bit, the ark landed on Mount Ararat. I know, it's a weird name, but Mount Ararat, and God opened the door, and they all got off the boat, and Noah and his family built an altar to thank God for protecting them through the crazy storm.
That's crazy. Oh, yeah, and don't forget about the rainbow.
Yes. The rainbow was God's promise, because after he flooded the earth, he promised he was never going to flood the earth again and destroy humanity with a flood. So his promise was the rainbow. And so now every time that we see the rainbow after it rains, we know that promise is still true today, that he's never going to flood the entire earth again. That's pretty crazy that, like, hundreds of thousands of years later, we're still getting that promise.
That is crazy.
It is really crazy.
Wow. Well, now when I see a Twix bar, I'm going to think of the animals that came in 2 by 2.
Yeah, and I know that was a lot to unpack just from a Twix bar.
A Twix bar.
But you can go back and read the entire story in Genesis 7 through 9. It's really not that long, and it was actually really interesting to go back and just read it for myself. But yeah, the pair of animals and the pair of Twix bars, I'm really excited. Let's dig into that.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to come back next and figure out what candy bar we're going to be talking about. Oh, thank you. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Oh no, I made a mess on your